So I went to Catholic school for 13 years, so in Philadelphia. So I learned a thing or two about naughty or nice. If you're nice, you go to heaven, and if you're naughty, you go to hell. But by the time I was a senior in high school, I kind of, was starting to wonder about, well, what about that gray area in between naughty and nice? What happens then? I was really big into community service in high school. I ran our service club, and we had a senior requirement for 40 hours. So everybody would come up to me. I had all the power. They'd be like, Martha, what do you got? And I'd pull out my notebook. Well, we have sandwich making for the homeless on Thursday. We're visiting a children's home on Saturday. But I saw the way you treated the frogs in biolab, so I don't think you should be near a kid. So I'll pencil you in for sandwiches. It was the only power I had in high school, so I really milked it. And our big shebang was Operation Santa Claus, and that was our annual toy drive, a big toy collection. We had to have faculty organizers for this because they had to coordinate with the families that we delivered the toys to. So we had Mrs. Dominello and Father Eugenheimer. Father Eugenheimer taught religion, and he was best known for the Flower Baby Project, which is where you had to carry around a 5-pound bag of flour and pretend it was a baby. There was a tragedy the year of our flower babies. One got run over in the parking lot. There was flour everywhere. It was really sick. Everyone was just standing there like this. And the owner had to write a paper on child abuse. And Mrs. Dominello, she was best known for, when she taught bio, for putting only a thin layer of paper towel between the floor and the dead cats dripping in formaldehyde that were dragged in to be dissected. Then they switched her to guidance counselor. So when she was guidance counselor, she and Father Eugenheimer, they were the advisors for Operation Santa Claus, and they hated each other. So their bickering, faces would be red, hair would be flying, swear words would be going back and forth, and I was like the child of divorced parents in between dealing with this. But despite that, we had a successful Operation Santa Claus, tons of toys. We got so much. We got way, way more than we needed, which was awesome. And we had the one room when we had our wrap station, Wrap Central, and lots of toys, more than we needed, like I said. So I had seen something on the news about a Salvation Army that was asking for donations. They didn't have enough toys that year. They really needed more. So I went in the next day. I said, Mrs. Dominello, why don't we give some of the extra toys to the Salvation Army, because we've got so many and they don't have enough. She said, no, they're not a Catholic organization. We can't give to them. I was like, but they really need them. We've got so many. She's like, no, don't worry. We're not going to do it. So I was 17 years old, and I was listening to a lot of Joan Baez and Ramones and reading the autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr., and I was not going to let this injustice go on. So I went into the wrap station where a couple of my friends were. This was a couple days before the delivery, and there's tons of stuff, and I got everybody in a huddle, and I said, guys, this is not going to go down like this, okay? Those toys are going to go to the poor. We're going to figure something out. So we said, all right, we're going to steal some of the presents, and we're going to get them out of here. We're going to bring them down to the Salvation Army. So we set up a whole system. Now, in those days, this was in the year 2000, there were no cell phones. I think my friend Michelle, she had a beeper, but there was only one payphone in the whole school, and it was down in the cafeteria, and we were up on the 4th floor, so we couldn't work that out. So we had to have stations. So Mary had a car, so she went and got her car and drove it around the back and had it down at the bottom. We had a runner who had to run from the ground floor up to the 4th floor and tell the person who was the lookout that it was time. And me and Jeannie were putting all the presents into these trash bags, looking out for Mrs. Dominello, and you could tell when the elevator dinged that she'd be coming, because she got to take the elevator. She had, swaddle, she shouldn't take the stairs. But so we're putting all the presents in, and then we're waiting for the signal. And I was really getting nervous about being able to see the signal all the way at the end of the hall, because that was the year that I first got contact lenses. And I had a really hard time with them. I had to get up an hour early before school, to get them in. I'd be going, ow, 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 and 3 out of 5 days of the week I was going to school with only one lens in. I couldn't really see all of senior year. So, but the lookout waved really big, so we saw her, and we ran down the hall, and we passed off the bags, and Michelle ran them down the stairs, and they threw them in Mary's car, and the tires squealed, and off they went to the Salvation Army. And Mrs. Dominello walked in, checked out. She never knew that we had pulled this little Robin Hood. Yes, justice has been served. We gave our toys to the poor, and we pulled one over on our teacher. For years, we were, so excited about this rebel act. We're such a crazy bunch of badass community service kids. And I think, about that gray area, were we being naughty or were we being nice? I don't know. If naughty kids end up going to hell and nice kids end up going to heaven. I think we probably end up somewhere in between in purgatory, but that's okay. Mrs. Dominello is probably there too. Thank you.